Hey guys, it's finally time for me to do the Q&A video that I've been promising for the last week now. I just want to quickly say how great your response has been to my request for questions. I've tried to get through as many as possible, but apologies if I have missed yours or combined it into another question. However, if this proves popular, I might do this sort of thing more often moving forward. Also, I'm thinking of slightly changing some of the types of content I'll be uploading over the next couple of weeks, and I'll elaborate this further on my Twitter, @esports, if you want a clearer picture, and I'll hopefully also be setting up a Discord soon as well. But let me know what you think in the coming weeks with the content that I deliver. I know this may go on for a bit, so I've decided to put some of the more important and personal questions earlier on, so you don't have to watch through right to the end. And if you're not that interested in these sorts of videos, I'll be replying to further questions down in the comments as well. That said, let's get started with the most popular question I think I've been asked by everyone up to now. And if you've been around for a while, you know I've been teasing it with subtle hints, to the great annoyance of many, including ATP Overwatch, who asks what Overwatch League team do I actually support? Now, I just think it's been a journey, and I'll go over the hints I've said so far. So, to anyone who's asked, and anyone who's been around, you should know that I said it was an inaugural season team, and it was a team I also supported pre-Overwatch League. And as for other hints, in ATP's Discord, I gave him some weird combination of numbers, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was to do with the ages of the starting roster at the time. And I also said that in my videos, that I included something which had a direct tie into the team I support. Surprisingly, after using this hint in my videos for over a month, not a single one of you even noticed it, which I think is actually probably fair enough, because it's not something you'd probably expect. But that was the audio that I used in the outro to my videos for the last, I'd say, 2 months, when I stopped about a week ago including it. And that was because it was the Apex Season 3 intro between GC Busan and Lunatic High. And as you guys know, obviously I'm not a London fan, aka GC Busan, so hence, drum roll, I'm a Seoul Dynasty fan. And it's a shame I can't troll people anymore, because it was a lot of fun. So now you can understand why I have a bit more of an inclination to make more videos surrounding their team. This leads nicely into answering who my favourite player is, as asked by Soavag. And of course it's Ryu Jae Hong. Whilst I don't mean anything specifically, he's a great reason behind why I play a lot of flex support heroes. I also have 2 of his OWL shirts, his inaugural season one, and this year's All-Star jersey. I think talking about Seoul perfectly links into this other question, submitted here by Similar Donkey 87, as to why I hate London. I don't actually hate London, but they're obviously the rival to my own side, so it's not like I can support them. And I was really annoyed when I heard they were the team that were going to represent my local side. And then it got even worse when they won Season 1. Not to mention their fans, like Dallas, can be so annoying to deal with, as I've got plenty of perfect first-hand experience, given how many of my friends are London fans themselves, given the locality. Of course, if you're somehow not aware, in answer to where I'm from the UK, specifically England, in response to others like Best of Fernie 1010. I'm from southern England, near to London, which is why my accent might sound slightly different to other content creators in the scene, like Sideshow or Foreign, as they have more thicker accents as they're from further up north. Occasionally I've had people ask me how I came up with the name Wol. I hear from Jack Mallon. It's slightly complicated, but originally it's a nickname that my mum gave to me. Originally, the origins are a bit all over the place, but the main one she says is it's from Winnie the Pooh, and the Owl's House is spelt wrong, because apparently that's like a running joke or whatever. I used to watch it a lot as a kid, but I can't remember much now. And I'm pretty sure instead of spelling owl, it spells wol. My name is Ollie, also, if that has a revelation to people. And as a kid, I hated the Wombles theme song. So jokingly, it also became Wombling Ollie. So hence, Wol, W-O-L. The next couple of questions sort of tie into one another. The first here by JDMD, and Seoul Dynasty my favourite, not wrong, as to what inspired me to make my YouTube channel. I think this is best answered if I answered Mazroid's 1's question that I've previously answered about what I'm currently studying. Currently I'm currently at the end of my second year of my university degree. Currently 20, birthday in April. I study history, particularly focusing on the military side, which means I'm fascinated by strategy and tactics. As a long-time gamer and esports watcher, I thought I'd love to mix the two together and really look at sort of the analytical and strategical side of how these games are run in sort of a MOBA sort of, in terms of looking at MOBAs and how this sort of is a link between a shooter and a MOBA with abilities and everything. And given most of my course is reading, I had a lot of free time on my hands. I thought I'd make some OWL content, applying 2 passions into one sort of project, which is why I decided to set up the YouTube channel, and I haven't regretted it at all since I started. I think the last major question I need to answer is what my current Overwatch rank is, as asked by Alex Stroud and many others. So, quite uniquely, I play on both console, being Xbox, and PC, but mainly PC right now. When I committed playing on console, when I was super into it, it was probably before I started university, so over a year ago. I ended up in Masters as a flex player, mainly playing tanks and supports, as you know, DPS. What can I say? But as the Xbox Europe region is quite small, it's actually got me to my peak at around 350th in the top 500, which, you know, something I like to say, but it actually means nothing. On PC, I've been around 2.9 and 3k mark for quite a while, but recently I just haven't really had that much spare time to really commit to playing a lot, so I haven't really attempted to make much progress as I've been focusing on exams and really focusing on OWL and making content rather than having a lot of time to spend playing games. Now I'm going to try and get through some of the other random questions you guys left me. But we'll just say that those asking for sort of Overwatch World Cup roster choices will probably get their answers sometime soon. So I'm looking to explore these areas in future videos. And it's the same with other sort of what my favourite team, sort of those type of videos, I think I will explore a little more moving forward. KG Ghost XD asked alongside others what my favourite player from each role is. So obviously flex support position will be Jaehong. Main support, again, you might see a lot of soul bias here, but it's Toby, the boot god himself. Main tank, another soul player in Jaehong, of course. No, being serious. It's Fusions. Got to rep my boy from the UK. Zumba's my favourite off tank. I do think it's a real shame he doesn't get to see more playtime. I think he's really shown with how Soul have been using these 2 new rosters that he's a really big asset to the team. And I can't really say any time in this season he's come on stage, and even last season, that he's been just fantastic. He plays the diva position fantastically. We don't see him much on his famous Zarya, and that play in the World Cup against the US, just bruh. But like, I think he's one of the more underrated bench players right now. Although obviously he's not playing much of the bench at the moment. And for DPS, it's sort of between the trio of Fletter, Sabiolby, and Shawfall, for all sort of kind of different reasons. I mean, obviously, Shawfall is just my favourite Western DPS player. Love his personality, love his just casual, you know, just attitude. And then, you know, with the skill of Fletter and Sabiolby, you know, they're just fantastic players that I can't really do justice to by saying how good they are. Moving on, Sergio Garcia then asked what my thoughts are on Jonet's glasses. I think they look great and really menacing, although fill them with a tinted red colour, and you get a very dodgy comparison that my fellow Brits may understand the reference to. I don't really want to get into that any deeper, especially after the drama in Season 1 around a certain player. CJ wanted to know what my thoughts were on King Michael. To be perfectly honest, it's not like I harbour any ill feelings towards him or anything. I watched a little bit of his content. I wasn't a huge fan of his super clickbait stuff. I mean, that's how YouTube works nowadays. You know, if you want to make money, if you want to make a living. So, you know, I understand where lots of people come from with that. I mean, it was more an easy way of me digesting news when it was actually news. So I tried to keep to those more of those videos than the leaks or the juice or anything like that. And it's not my style. So don't expect me to like go in big like on super leaks and stuff. As you've seen, I've mentioned it in a couple of videos, you know. Like, for example, I said yesterday that Envy was perhaps going to join Shanghai. I didn't go into too much detail with it. I said it looked great. And lo and behold, I was actually right. But, no, I just don't really like to make, you know, massive rumour videos or anything, because I don't really enjoy that sort of content. But the fact he's now got caught up in more drama going to Fortnite, I think it just gives even more validity to how poor his reputation his character really had. But, you know, over time just got progressively worse and worse in the scene. So, you know, whatever. I kind of just ignore him, to be perfectly honest. And yes, Owl. Or Owl? Apologies, I'm terrible at names. I do make scripts for nearly every video that I make. Tried to make this one a bit more unscripted, with sort of just bullet points to most of the questions I'm answering. So just find it easier to sort of self-evaluate what I'm saying in the moment, to see if it makes sense, if I've got a script I'm reading aloud. Although I think when I go off script, I think it's better when I'm sort of invested in something, especially easily, how would I put this? It's easier when I'm having a conversation. I'm very good in conversations about, bringing dialogue and stuff. So I think if I'm going to do more unscripted stuff moving forward, I might try and, do that alongside someone else, as I just find it easier to talk off of people and, bounce ideas and this sort of thing. Well, I think if I do more unscripted stuff, it'll hopefully get better over time. Although having the script is also great because it gives a sort of a written grounding, and it's sort of, it's good practice for me as my, history. I've got to be writing all the time and, lots of essays. Brendan Maxwell on Nerd Overwatch wanted to know how I'd fix Florida and Washington. Florida, I think, needs to target some top Korean talent, such as from Element Mystic towards the end of the season. They truly want to compete. I mean, they just signed 3 new signings. I've forgotten the name off the top of my head. But I just don't think right now it's really going to change anything, as I do think coaching and just the organisation as a whole has too many issues to really contend with. They say they're building for the future, but I'll believe it when I see it. And, I think they just need to make small steps. I think the signing of Fate was a good signing, as long as they can get his form that he was during the South Korean World Cup. If you can get that sort of form out of him, then they can progress towards more of like a Boston. The occasional upset over a big side. Otherwise, that mid-lower pack, I think, is probably their peak of their potential. As for Washington, Washington's arguably even harder, because I like their pickups, and I think the pickups are sending a good message that they're heading in the right direction. But I don't think the coaching is up to par. When you see Florida, you at least see they have like a plan, or so, they have a style they want to execute, and it doesn't matter how terrible they are. At least they have that grounding, firm base. With Washington, I think this is just shown by how they're actually not that bad defensively, unlike Assault and Hybrid. But when they go to attack, they just seem to have no real strategy. They kind of just want to be reactionary, and that only works if you sort of like a Seoul, like a New York, try and sort of have that initial, bait to hook them in, and then like counterattack or react to what's in front of you. So their engagements just never seem to be on the same page as one another. And I can't really tell if that's a coaching decision, whether that's, poor coordination between front and back line. I can only assume at this point. Right now, if they're not going to ascribe to sort of Janice's style, I think they do actually need to get a new main tank. Otherwise, I'd sort of say they just need to bulk up their the depth in their squad. Corey and Sansam, I think, have actually been 2 of their brighter spots, but I think they could do better, and it would be better and more competitive within the team if they got some more depth in those areas. And they definitely need to bring in a superstar DPS, because no offense to Addo, I just don't think he's lived up to how well he showed himself on Shanghai. Not necessarily his fault, given him he's been on Brig Jail, but if they can bring in a superstar DPS and develop a really core young side, as it were, as they kind of started to do, they could try and follow a similar sort of pattern to how Shock went from Season 1, Season 2. Obviously, I don't at all think they're going to have any kind of acceleration of success, and there's multiple factors why San Francisco went from gradually improving from stage 1 to 4, and now one of the best teams in the league this season. But I think Washington can at least make those preliminary steps to then at least contest that middle of the pack at best next season. Melvin Sheffen asked what other games I play and what my favourite food is. Starting on the gaming side, I think that I'm very open to quite a wide variety of styles, especially through RPGs. I really love RPG games. I felt like I played a ton of them. From your classics like Skyrim. Really love the Tales series. Recently, with my tactical and strategic sort of love and academic and esports side, I've gotten really into the Valkyria series. I really like that series. That series has been really enjoyable to play. Of course, aside from them, I enjoy popular games as well. You know, just popular sports games. You know, you've got your Call of Duties, you've got your FIFA, Madden, etc. And also League, as I follow that esports scene as well. I mean, in general, actually, I try and follow quite a few esports scenes just to see, you know, how each one's progressing. You know, what the fans, the casters, the players sort of do, just to, you know, increase, you know, how much, you know, how much enjoyment the consumer or the fans can get out of it in the event in the end. Sorry. For my favourite food, it has to be Yorkshire pudding. Now, Americans probably don't have a clue what I'm about. But there's a meal called Toad in the Hole, which is a Yorkshire pudding and a sausage inside of it. Look it up if you're confused. And that is one of the nicest foods I can't put into words how good that is. And I don't mean the little tiny ones from flipping Aunt Bessie's or whatever down at Tesco. I don't care. No. I mean the jumbo ones you fill your plate with your sausage in the middle, all, you know, wrapped up, you know, in a spiral or whatever. Throw some mash in there, throw some gravy in there, or you're onto a winner. You're onto a winner. And I'm actually going to throw a drink in as well. And I'll say like a bitter shandy. I'm not too fussed. Love a bitter shandy. Or Kinney. Now, Kinney is a drink I had when I went to Malta as a kid. And there is like an equivalent Fanta. I just don't know what the flavour is. But it's one of the nicest drinks I've ever had in my entire life. But I can't remember what it's called and how to bloody get it. So if I have any Malta fans, I don't think I have any fans from Malta. If I do, if you know what the hell Kinney is, then please let me know. Because I need to drink that again and, like, I don't know, buy a box of it. Because I love that drink to bits. I really want to try it again. I can see I'm now approaching about, you know, close to 20 minutes in this video. So I think it's probably a good time to end, you know, because I don't want to go on forever, because I know a lot of people won't be too interested in, you know, this going on forever. But if I didn't get, as I said, if I didn't get to your question, and you really want a quick answer to it, post it in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Or propose it for another Q&A. If you guys really enjoyed this, by all means, I'm quite happy to do another one. If you want to know other things, like what my favourite sports are, or, you know, just some other general questions. And I'm more than happy to go into a bit more, you know, detail about stuff. And I think it's a really good video idea, like the Overwatch World Cup stuff, and also like what my favourite all-time teams and things like that are. Then I might explore them, you know, moving forward, whether that be in a Q&A video or in its own video by itself. But anyway, I'd like to thank you for watching this Q&A. If you have made it all the way to the end, I will be back probably either tomorrow or on Friday with one of my newer videos that I'm going to be planning on doing. And this is, if you have made it this far, I'm thinking of moving my review just to Monday rather than having a daily review, and looking at doing some more analytical, specific content using the Overwatch League viewer, as I think personally I just have a bit more interest in that, and I think it's more so it'll be better content as well for the channel rather than just, you know, going over the games when you can just watch the highlights or whatever. But anyway, if you enjoyed, please be sure to like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter for this continuing Overwatch League coverage and content. And be sure to have a lovely rest of your day.